Hello BookTube, Sarah here, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm coming to you with a tag video. So back when I was figuring out all the videos I was going to do in December, I knew that I was going to be having, per my upload schedule, a video coming out on Christmas Eve and a video coming out on Boxing Day. And I thought for fun, I should do tags for those videos because why the heck not? It's a quiet week. It is a bit of a lazy week for most people. So why not do some tags? Because tags are always fun. But I didn't know which ones I wanted to do. And both of these tags were kind of a last minute decision, but I'm super thrilled that I picked both of them. So the one for today and the one that's going to go up on Thursday are both going to be super duper fun. So I'm wearing my Santa hat today because this is going up on Christmas Eve. I am filming this on Sunday. So, yeah, this one should be fun. And sorry for the noise in the background. Of course, Garrett is playing with his 3D printer. So, the tag that I'm doing, I haven't even mentioned that yet. The tag that I'm doing is the Vlogmas Tag. And this was created by Sean the Book Maniac and Britta Bowler. And I'll leave both of their original videos in the description box below so you guys can go ahead and check them out. I've seen a number of people do this. It was just created this year and it looked like a lot of fun. And I was kind of unofficially doing Vlogmas. I mean, I was vlogging a bit every day, or I have been. And I've been uploading them sometimes once, like for a single day, sometimes for 3 days, sometimes for a week. So it's been a little bit all over the place, but you're still getting like a bit of a daily vlog from me. It's just the uploading. So officially, unofficially participating. And I think I said in another video that next year what I think I'm going to do is like the 12 days of Bookmas instead of doing Vlogmas, and do like a video from the 12th to the 24th. I think would be a lot of fun. So anyway, let's jump into the tag. So what's really fun about this one is that there's 7 questions, and each question starts with a different letter, spelling out Vlogmas. So the first question is V is for Voyage, a book that involves travel. So I do have some actual physical books to show you guys. And the first one for travel, the first book that popped into my head, of course, was Outlander. And I think that's because it was Voyage was the first letter, or the first word. And Voyage made me think of Voyager, which I think is the 4th or 5th book in the Outlander series. No, I think it's the 3rd. Because it's Outlander, Dragonfly, and Amber, and then Voyager. Voyager's the 3rd book. So, this book definitely involves travel of the time variety. So there is a lot of time travel in this series and these books. There is also travel that our main characters travel all over the Scottish Highlands. If you just look at the first book on its own, there is a lot of travel with them traveling as a group. Within the series itself, though, not only do you get the time travel back and forth, but it goes to England and it goes to America. And so there's a lot of travel within the series itself. If you have not picked up this series, I highly recommend it. I did a reread of this book this year, and I want to jump onto Dragonfly and Amber next year. I'm thinking I might try for like a book a year. They're chunky, you guys. If you guys watch the TV show or you've read them yourselves, you know. They are a lot. They are very, very dense, but they are so, so, so good, and I highly recommend them. The next question, number 2, L is for LGBTQ+. Recommend a favorite book or author. So, I will be honest and say that LGBTQ books are not ones that I generally gravitate towards. Not because I have a problem with them, but just because they are not typically on my radar. But when I participated this year in the Romanceopoly Challenge hosted by Jess from Peace Love Books and the girls from the Under the Cover book blog, one of the categories was to read an LGBTQ. I think it was a new adult book. And I went on and I found this book, and I'm so glad I found it because I really, really enjoyed it. Pretty sure it got a 4.5-star rating from me. And that is Love Lessons by Heidi Cullinan. So this is essentially a new adult gay romance, and it was delightful. It was absolutely delightful. It was about 2 guys in college, and the cover is just like adorable. I loved it. This book, it does have adult content in it, so do keep that in mind. But I really, really liked it, and I am definitely wanting to, I think, move further into the series. I don't know if I have the second book or the next book in my TBR series jar. If not, I'm going to try and find a way to fit it in this year in 2020, because I really, really did enjoy it, and I want to move on, and I want to read more by this author as well. Next one, O is for Oldie but Goodie. A book that you read a long time ago that holds a special place in your heart. If you guys are new to my channel, or if you guys have been watching my channel for a while, you probably know exactly what book I'm about to hold up. Christie's Great Idea by Ann M. Martin. I found this edition at a thrift store by chance, and I paid 50 cents for it, guys. It's a hardcover. It's I think it's probably a former library edition, but it is, I'm so thrilled that I have this in a hardcover. I don't even know what the naked paper, or the naked book looks like. I didn't realize that. Oh, that's delightful. I had no idea that it was the same. Oh, I love it so much. So yeah, so this was a find for me. This is the series that got me into reading in the first place. This is the series that really, really made me a reader. And probably started my love for series. I am currently, I had stopped for about 6 months, but I'm back on the wagon again of rereading my childhood favorites. I'm rereading through the Babysitters Club series, the original Nancy Drew series, the one with the yellow covers, the yellow spines, the old hardcover ones, as well as the Nancy Drew case files that came out when I was, they came out in the 80s essentially. So yeah, so definitely one of my favorite books, the favorite book from my childhood. Next question is, G is for gift. Share some anecdotes, I can talk, about good and bad experience with giving and or receiving book gifts. I do not receive a lot of book gifts, to be completely honest. Contrary to what you're seeing with me holding up physical books and the fact that I do have a bookshelf behind me, I generally do not read physical copies of books. I am a digital reader all the way. 90% of what I read is digital. And either it be mostly audio or mostly ebook, a lot of audiobooks as well. So it's hard to gift an ebook, and I think Amazon needs to get on that. You can gift somebody a gift certificate, and then they can use it to purchase a Kindle book. But I really think it would be great to have the option of being able to gift a person a Kindle book. Type in their email address. If they have an account, it goes to their Kindle or their Kindle app or something like that, and to be able to do it across countries as well. Like, I'm in Canada, so I would love to be able to gift my friends in the US books, Kindle books, because believe me, it would save a ton on postage. So yeah, gifts to me, book gifts are generally not a big thing. I tend to buy for myself. If I do end up getting an Amazon gift card, 10 to 1 says I'm going to buy Kindle books. Now, giving gifts as books is something I have always done. My niece and nephew, my niece is 10, my nephew is 2.5, and both of them are getting books for Christmas. They get books for Christmas every year from me. They get books for their birthdays. I am a big believer in books. I think they make great gifts, and, especially for children, And, they need to they need to see other readers. And I think that's what makes a reader, is if you grow up in a household where other people are reading, you tend to do it as well. Do you know what I mean? Not always. I mean, it doesn't always work out that way, but most of the time that's how it works out. M is for, okay, number 5. M is for Mass-Market Paperback. Do you like them? Why or why not? Show us a couple and talk about a couple that you've read. So I grabbed a couple off my shelf, my big bookshelf over there. That's a terrible mess that I'm not going to show you. But I love Mass-Market Paperbacks. My absolute favorite, hold on. Boink. Sorry, guys. This is why I can't have nice things, you guys. I really, really hope that my little guy just didn't break. Oh, he didn't. Oh, good. My Cheshire cat. He fell down. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Sorry about that, you guys. You guys know I don't heavily edit these things. These are my favorite thing ever. Harlequin imprints, category romance. I live for category romance. I would love, one of my dreams, if we had the space and had the money, but unfortunately with the rental prices in Toronto, it's not going to happen anytime soon. I would love a room just for my book collection, so I could have bookshelves, and I would fill them with these books. I love nothing more than going to a thrift store or a charity shop and picking these up for like 50 cents or 25 cents a piece. Library book sales, you can get them for $0.25, and just to have like shelves and shelves and shelves of them. I collect these as much as I read these. This is a Harlequin historical novel. This one came out in October. It's a Regency. Invitation to a Cornish Christmas by Marguerite Kay and Bronwyn Scott. Have not read this one yet, but it is on my shelf to get to eventually. And these are my bread and butter. These are, if this was the book that made me a reader in my childhood, these are the books that made me continue to be a reader as an adult, because I love these. And this is what started my love of romance. No pun intended. So I do have a couple other ones to show you guys, and I thought I'd talk about them real quick. First one, this is Only Mine by Susan Mallory. This is part of the Fool's Gold series. I love, love, love this series so much. I've read this one, right? Yes, Dakota's Story. I've read this one. I read this one in 2019. I read this one this year. And this is a great contemporary romance series taking place in a small town called Fool's Gold, California, and all of the characters that inhabit this town. It's delightful. Highly recommend. The next one is a book I just finished, and I do have a copy on paperback, or in Mass-Market Paperback. I did listen to this one on audio, but I did have this edition because it's the great Jill Shalvis, and I love Jill Shalvis. This was Wrapped Up in You, book number 8 in the Heartbreaker Bay series. What I loved, and the reason I had to pick this up, is because it's not the norm for Mass-Market Paperback romance. So if you'll just excuse as I reach again, and hopefully, I swear I can't touch anything on that shelf anymore. So, usually these are Mass-Market historical novels. And most of the time with Mass-Market historicals, you get what they call a step back. So that's a step back, where it opens up to another image on the inside. I love it. It's very, very prevalent within historical romance. It's not generally something that you see in contemporary romance, but this one has a step back, and I love it. I absolutely love it. When I saw that, I'm like, I must get it. It looks utterly delightful. Look at that, you guys. And then on the inside, you've also got, of course, praise for the book. Love it, love it, love it. I had to get it for that reason alone. And yeah, and it's Jill Shalvis, of course. And last but not least, one of the first books outside of the Harlequin category romance that I just talked about, one of the first contemporary romance novels that I read, and I really enjoyed this one, and I need to do a reread of it because it's probably been a good 10 to 15 years since I read it. When was this originally published? I don't think I even read it when it first came out. I'm pretty sure it came out in 2007, which would have been, what, 13 years ago? So maybe I did read it not long after it came out. Sugar Daddy by Lisa Kleypas. Now, I know a lot of people are familiar with this author who read romance with her historical romance. She writes great contemporary as well. And that's how I know her. And then it's odd how you come to an author and how you meet an author, if you will, that whichever book it is by them that you pick up first. You know, in my case, Lisa Kleypas was a contemporary writer. And then when I saw she did historical, I'm like, well, she writes historicals too? When in reality, I'm pretty sure that's where she got her start. And then she picked up, wrote contemporaries later on. So it's just kind of interesting the way you come to an author and meet an author. But anyway, like I said, Sugar Daddy. This book was so fun. It is literally, as the title suggests, about a sugar daddy. In a way. Liberty Jones has dreams and determination that will take her far away from Welcome, Texas, if she can keep her wild heart from ruling her mind. Hardy Cates sees Liberty as completely off limits. His own ambitions are bigger than Welcome, and Liberty is a complication he doesn't need. But something magical and potent draws them to each other in a dangerous attraction that is stronger than either of them. When Hardy leaves town to pursue his plans, Liberty finds herself alone with a young sister to raise. Soon Liberty is under the spell of a billionaire tycoon, a sugar daddy, one might say. But the relationship goes deeper than people think, and Liberty begins to discover secrets about her own family's past. So, so good. If you have not read this book and you're a fan of this author, or if you're a fan of contemporary romance, this is a great novel that you need to pick up. This is one in a set of two. I think the other one is called Blue-Eyed Devil, which I think I haven't actually read that one yet. But maybe one of my goals in 2020 will be to reread this one and then read Blue-Eyed Devil, because her stuff is so, so fantastic. Are there any more questions? I think so. Let's see what else I can knock off my shelf. Number 6, All in the Family. A is for All in the Family. Whether you come from a family of readers or you don't, tell us about it. So, I mentioned this briefly when I was talking about book gifts. I do come from a family of readers. Both my mom and dad are avid readers. we always had books in the house. My parents had a huge bookshelf, like wall to wall, like a built-in in the basement. And my brother and I had bookshelves in our rooms. And to this day, my dad not so much now in the winter, it's weird. In the summer, he tends to like to sit outside. And when he sits outside, he tends to read books. And he will go through like a book a day when he's sitting outside. Whereas now it's the winter time, it's like a book every week or every 2 weeks. It's funny how that would be the opposite for a lot of other people. Like I know a lot of people tend to read a bit more in the winter. But anyway, he's always reading. He's always got at least a book on the go. My mother's the same way. She's always reading. She used to be a quicker reader. She used to read through a lot of books, but now, unfortunately, about 10 years ago, she suffered from a stroke. And she's fine. You know, she's no real ill effects, except for the fact that she finds she cannot read as quickly, and her eyesight is not as good as it used to be, and she needs to read almost like larger print books, which is why my brother and I pooled our money together last year. And I think for her birthday or Christmas, we got her a Kindle. And she loves it because she can make the print bigger, which is the one great thing about reading on an e-device. And so if the print's bigger, she's okay. But she still finds, at least, you know, sometimes she has to really pay attention to what she's reading. So she's a lot slower of a reader, and it actually can take her upwards of a month or so to get through a book, whereas she used to be able to read a book every couple days. So she still reads every day, just not as quickly as she used to. My brother always has a book on the go, and of course, I always have a book on the go. Growing up, in retrospect, my best friend, her family didn't read. They just didn't read. And that's some people. I don't understand it personally, but they don't. And she never got it. You know, we used to go out and we'd go to the mall. She'd want to go into the clothing store. I'd be like, ooh, the bookstore. You know, she never got it. Now as an adult, she does do a little bit of reading, but she tends to be very pigeonholed with her reading. She loves the TV series Murder, She Wrote. And she is reading her way through the entire series of those books, and she will reread them. And I've said to her, if you like that, you know, pick up the Hannah Swenson series by Joanna Fluke. You know, I mean, it's another cozy mystery type. And she doesn't have any interest. She just wants to, and you know what, that's fine. You know, each to their own, but yeah, I think if you come from a family of readers, you're going to continue, or you yourself will be a reader. And the last question is, S is for Santa. S is Santa. Or S is for Sarah. Books on your Christmas wish list. I don't have any, you guys. I'll be honest. Again, as I said in a previous question, I do not ask for books because I generally do not get print books. I don't buy print books. Although, I do have a wish list on Amazon of like print books that I like to get my hands on. And again, we do not have a lot of room in this apartment for me to have a lot of books on bookshelves, but I tend to hold on to books more that I really, really love. The Outlander book that I showed you guys, the Jill Shalvis book that I showed you guys, that Babysitter's Club book, the Harlequins, which I do have to be careful, on how many that I bring into this house because we just don't have the room for them. But if I was to have anything at all book related for Christmas, I want the entire Outlander series. I'm just holding up this one. This is the short story collection, 7 Stones to Stand and Fall by Diana Gabaldon. I would want the entire series in hardcover. I have 2 of them. I have 3 of them, including this one. This one I have Written in My Own Heart's Blood, A Breath of Snow and Ashes. I might have one more. What's the black one? An Echo in the Bone. I have those 3, so I need to get the rest of them in hardcover because I would love that for my shelves. Do I read them in this format? No, I don't, because this is far too much for me to be carrying back and forth to the office to read, because I tend to read on my lunch break. But these ones I listen to on audio because they're so fantastic on audio. But I would love them for my collection on my shelves because I think that they would be gorgeous. I have not read this one yet. As I'm doing my rereading through the series of Outlander, she lists in this book, there are, I don't know how many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there are 7 short stories in this collection, and they come in between other books in the series. So I'm going to be reading these in the order that they come in the series. So like it tells you, for your added convenience, blah, blah, blah. So, and it tells you also where it was originally published. So she gives you a listing here. So it says like Virgins, which is the first short story. You read that one. That one actually is supposed to be a prequel to Outlander, so I need to go back and read that one. And then after that, you'd read Dragonfly and Amber. Then the book, the short story in here called The Fugitive Green, and so on and so forth. So I highly recommend that you pick this up. I saw this for dirt cheap at Walmart for 40% off when it first came out, so that's why I picked it up. Anyway, guys, a little bit of a rambly tag, but I do hope that you enjoyed it. Please let me know your answers to any of these questions in the comments below. I know it's already the 24th, and Vlogmas is pretty much over, but maybe keep this on your radar to do next year. I will leave, of course, as I already said, links to both Sean and Britta's channels, to their videos in the description box below, as well as a list of all these questions. And until my next video, everybody, take care and happy reading. Bye, guys.